Transit Authority meeting for Thursday, August 10th, today at 3:47 p.m. We'll start with introductions to our left.
Hey, I'm Leo Suarez.
Nice to meet you.
Terrence Roof.
Linda Davis.
Latanya Williams.
Jennifer Truman.
Tallulah Pay Omokaye.
Nathan Spencer.
Sarah Prado.
Bryce Connors.
All right, thank you for that. Are there any revisions or additions to the agenda?
I wanted to ask if we could get an update about the Go Access issues that we've been having as we transition.
The short answer is yes. I think we might have a couple of slides as well, if we have time for that. And we'll be glad to introduce that at any time during the agenda at the pleasure of the board.
We'll put that at the end of the committee, since we only have 2 committee reports this time. Well, additions would be introducing the new board member, and then you want to make an announcement?
I'll make an announcement,
Okay. So we'll add 2 additions, and we'll just go ahead and get those out the way. So let's first introduce our new member.
Yes, we have Mr. Leo Suarez. And Leo, just tell the board a little bit about you and why you were interested in the board.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, my name's Leo Suarez. I have been a Raleigh resident since 1996. My family moved here, so pretty much grew up here. I have been interested in transit for a while now, following those developments. And my day job is in software engineering, but I've been doing some random volunteer work, some of it in technology, some of it like neighborhood and community level stuff. So this year I thought I'd try to get on a committee like this one, and here I am. So I'm eager to get started and, I don't know, see what I can do. Thanks.
Welcome.
Welcome.
We have one more to add, though. After that, we need to.
And I'm not sure, Dr. Ruth, have you introduced at the full board before?
Yes,
He
I
did
think
the last one.
yeah.
Okay, I missed one meeting and my brain's gone, so, all right, thank you.
All right, understandable. And then we have our grand opening, and now it's grand closing with.
All right. So today, my name is Nathan Spencer. Today is my last meeting. I am resigning a little before my term ends, but not much. It's been a long 6 years. I did want to say I appreciate all the work we've been able to accomplish. I've appreciated this partnership that we've had, chair and vice chair, over a number of years, and the the passion we've had on both fighting for and sometimes against each other, and all the work and commitment that you have had, and all the board members we've seen come through and worked with. And I also want to thank the staff for their commitment and their work. I've watched many come through and get poached out to amazing employers, and it's always hard to watch them go because the work that everyone does. But this is a good place, despite the amount that I yell at David Eatman and he yells back privately. He runs a good team, and I appreciate all of you. Keep up the good work. 6 years, we've done a lot. BRT is coming into fruition. We got through a pandemic. We've got a new management company in there. We're now talking about, future agreements and moving forward and bringing back service and expanding. There's a lot that I'm proud of, but it's really the people that I'm going to remember. So thank you all.
And thank you for your service and your time here with the Transit Authority. Your expertise and your commitment and passion they're going to be missed. They're going to be sorely missed. But I'm still going to be bugging you, so there will be that. All right, are there any other additions to the agenda? All right, so then we'll jump right in with we have an action item, but that's in the committee report, so we'll just go ahead and start with the committee assignments, which is right on time.
So yes, we are lacking on assignments to the individual committees. I know that Linda has the only current appointed seat within the Policy and Finance Committee. And then I think the Marketing Committee is okay, but I know Finance and Policy is one that we really need to work on. So for everyone that has been, just so that I know there has been some confusion in the past, that might be the best way for us to do this. Everyone that has been assigned a committee at this point, raise your hand. A formal committee. So, all right. And so that our two new members have not. So it seems like we can switch things around, or by default, welcome to the Finance and Policy Committee. But I am not speaking for the chair, but I will let the chair take it from here and determine if there needs to be some swapping of seats, or whether, again, you're going to enter that really great world of finance and policy, which we'll actually talk more about today. It has some exciting, I would say, and also challenging things coming in the coming year. But again, sorry, Chair, I'll let you go from there.
Oh, no problem. I do want to open it up to the authority, and I know that some of us have held seats on on our specific committees for some time, some not so long. So if anybody is interested, let's maybe do a quick vote on who might be interested in switching around their committees. Or is everybody okay where you are? Do anybody want to switch to marketing, nothing like that? Okay, well, fine. Then, welcome to the Policy and Finance Committee. I know you all do great work there. And you all still have the opportunity to go to the other committee meetings. You don't have to just be stuck with Policy and Finance, but your vote, I don't mean it like that, but your vote will be counted, of course, in there. It's imperative in there, especially for quorum for that committee, but you can visit other committees, you can sit in, you can give your opinion outside of this meeting. But thank you for your...
And just so everyone's aware, this body does have 9 active members. So that, 9 what it calls or council considers as regular members. There are 2 alternates that come on board. And certainly if there's not a quorum at a meeting, then those 2 alternates, if they're in attendance, will vote by seniority, whichever one's needed in order to have a quorum. Now, and as individuals were to rotate off, then those individuals go directly into a regular seat, and their time as an alternate does not impact their eligibility on the board as a regular member, if that makes sense. So I did want to explain that. We do have 1 alternate seat under consideration by council, and that would have given us a full body, and then we had Mr. Spencer. And so we will be doing the paperwork in order to put that second alternate out as quickly as possible. But I did want to just make sure everybody understood that process. And as people rotate off, then certainly those alternates rotate into those full-time regular positions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that was a quick committee discussion. We'll go ahead and jump into our, we have 4 minutes. You all want to just go ahead and do public comment really quickly? All right, so let's go ahead and pause the meeting at 3:56 for public comment. Do we have public comments? Anybody sign up?
We do have some signed up for public comment, and I think Andrea is going to get the sign-up list now. Can you pass that around?
Thank you very much. Okay, we got a couple people talking today, so I will call up Mr. Clifton Hill with Go Raleigh. Please come to the mic and give us your name and your email address.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Clifton Hill. My email address is eachoneteachone.ch@gmail.com. Wasn't enough space in the box. Yeah, so I try not to. How much time I have? Okay.
But not forever.
Not forever. All right, so I am a financial secretary of the union also. Bus operator, I'm also a trainer. And I care deeply about the direction our company is going. We in bargaining right now, and all we was asking for is parity with other cities near us and what we deserve. Right? I understand that the contract that the company had is that that was 5% a year for each employee. You know, in bargaining, the offers was like 2%, 4.5%, and it's like, no, we deserve what was agreed upon. And then with our insurance, it was agreed up 80%, 65% was offered. You know, we also have issues with, you know, with the company having the power that they have. They're in a position of power. We ask for rule books, paper. You know, we wanted books on the desk so we can read them, not go online. We wanted everyone to have rule books. And if discipline is going to be there, we need rule books. So we also ask for that. We've been asking about our pension. We want to put our eyes on our pension. We haven't seen our pension since I don't know when. So that's been a big thing that everyone's worried about. Far as bargaining, far as the pay, we deserve as much as Durham or even more, because we understand that it costs more to live in Raleigh. I was reading the Redfin report in April, and it was saying that Raleigh's rental rates went up 16.6%, which was #1 in the country. So I feel like Durham do have more gangs and all of that, but we have more homelessness. And coming from the pandemic, all of that was dropped on us. And we deserve protection and safety and those things, and we haven't got that. We are being assaulted, we're being spit on, we're being kicked, you know, and they're down there all day, and we deal with this every day, all day. So we want parity as far as pay or even more, I believe, because I believe we're the capital city, and we deal with more as far as mental illness on the bus. Man, there's so many things we have to deal with that y'all don't know about, or you might know about, but what else? We just asking for a decent contract. We asking for safety, and we asking for decent benefits. Right now, the benefits that's being offered, we had a PPO, now we have an EPO. And it's been a little stressful for a lot of our members because they had doctors for 20 years and they weren't able to be with that doctor. And then it's been so expensive for us. We have one employee here, he's been cutting his blood pressure medicine in half. He's not going to pass a DOT test doing that. So it has to be affordable for us. We asking for 90-10, 80-20. And we believe we deserve it, especially when we went from a PPO down to an EPO. So I'm not going to be long-winded because we have others that want to talk, but I believe as the capital city, we deserve a satisfying contract. That's all I'm saying, a satisfying contract. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, the next person is Miss Crystal Rudd with Go Raleigh. Please come to the mic and tell us your name and email address.
Okay, my name is Crystal Rudd. Email Crystal, CRYSTAL, Mac, MACK, 47 at gmail.com. Basically, I'm here to talk about safety. On June 28th, I was sexually assaulted in the most violated and I was violated. And it's challenging for me to talk about it, to stand up here and talk about it. sexually assaulted in a way that you probably cannot imagine while at work, 9 o'clock at night at work. And I just feel like safety is, we don't talk about it enough. It's not being, I just don't feel like anybody cared what took place. And I say anybody, I mean as far as management. It took about 2 days for me to hear from anybody. And I had to reach out to EAP on my very own. I took about 4 weeks off. Came back on that Friday. The gentleman that violated me, that sexually assaulted me, had no business downtown at all. He was already trespassed. So when he violated me the way that he did, he was already trespassed. He had no business on the bus, no business at a bus stop, no business downtown. Came back to work, and now he's stalking me. He's still downtown. Safety is the issue. It has affected me. It has given me anxiety like crazy. And here I am trying to push through, get back in the driver's seat and work. And I have anxiety, terrible. I just feel like it's not being pushed. Nobody's talking about it. Nothing's being done. I hear that we're supposed to have some type of funding for safety. Where is it at? If more police presence was there, if we had some type of guard, somebody there, I don't feel like it would have happened. And it's not just myself. Other females, drivers, males, not just sexual assault, physical assault. We go through a lot. And I just wanted to speak. I don't want to be silenced about what took place to me. A lot of my coworkers had no idea. Where have you been? Where were you at? How do you tell a operator who's been driving transit for 17 years to keep quiet? I took off the remainder of today because I'm tired, anxiety. And I'm not a speaker. I don't get up and speak. But I'm passionate about what took place, what happened to me. After 17 years of driving, nobody deserves that. So safety is my thing. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you for your courage to come up here and speak in front of us. I know that wasn't easy.
Thank you.
So we can get to where we need to get to. All right, the next person, and I even hate to just move right on, but it looks like we have a lot of Go Raleigh people that want to speak, and we do have some updates from management, so we will just do a quick little, if the board doesn't mind, rearrange of our schedule to move that up to after the public comments, and then we'll get into the committee, because I don't want us to take any time away from them being able to go ahead and address some of the issues that you all are speaking on. Can we bring, the next person is Ms. Rashonda Vaughn. If you don't mind coming to the microphone and giving us your name and your email address.
Good afternoon. My name is Roshonda Vaughn. My email is roshonda.vaughn@gmail.com. I wanted to kind of touch on a lot of different issues that are going on. Safety, for one, we do not feel safe. We've been complaining about this for years. I did back in 2021, when we were still under TransDev, send in a 19-page report where you had asked me, Madam Chair, to send in a report about the issues that were going on, that we were having under TransDev. It seems like it has just rolled over into this new company. Nothing has been resolved. The issues are still the same. Healthcare, 90% of the operators cannot use the insurance that we are offered. We have operators like Cliff said, we have operator here, he's having to cut his medication in half, and that's not right. I've been going to my doctor for 13 years. My doctor doesn't accept the insurance because he said the insurance is no good. They don't like to pay. So I signed up. I didn't know at the time, but I signed up for the flex spending card because I had it when I worked for the state. I had it when I worked for the county. So I know about how much I spend throughout the year for like my copay, my glasses, and medications and stuff like that. So I went to go pick up my medication 2 weekends ago. And when I swiped my card was not working. So the pharmacist said, your card is not working. I said, well, hold on, let me try to call this number on the back of the card to see what's going on. So I called, and they weren't open, so I had to wait till Monday. So when I called, I told them, I said, I went to go pick up my medication, and my card wasn't working, so I'm trying to find out what's going on. So the lady asked me, do you work for RapDev? I said, yes, I do. She said, well, your card has been deactivated. I said, why is my card deactivated? Said, because we received a red flag that you went to go see a provider outside of the network. I said, this is my flex spending card. This is not a medical card. What does this have to do with anything? We need a detailed summary of why you went to go see this doctor. I told her no. That is a violation of my rights and HIPAA. This is a flex spending card. I do not have to tell you why I went to go see my doctor. So my card was deactivated. I sent an email to our general manager and the deputy general manager about what happened. To date, I hadn't heard anything back. Our pension, we want answers about our pension. We've been complaining about this since TransDev. We still don't know what's going on with our pension. The assaults on the operators is continuing to go on. And we still having issues with retaliation from management. So this was not, I'm not sure if it's just I'm just not sure. Because now here I am facing a possible suspension for asking a question about a picture that was going around that operators said that they had took of the deputy general manager. So when I got wind of it, I sent the email and I asked her, is this you? I sent the email to the general manager and to the deputy herself. And in there, I said that an operator took this picture alleging that this is the deputy general manager in this picture. Because operators have been complaining about the way that she dresses. They said they are offended. They feel that it's sexual harassment. Like I told them, I don't see her because of my work hours. But I have heard different males and females speak about the way that she dresses. So now it's the issue. It's like everything is personal. So now they want to suspend me because of a picture, because I asked questions about the picture. I didn't take the picture. I was given the picture. People come to me a lot and ask me questions. If I know something, if I can help any operator, I will. That's just like when Krista was out. I didn't know why she was out, and I thought we should know about that. We wasn't told anything. We have passengers that are still on the bus that have been trespassed. We don't know about it. So they're continuing to assault other operators. I don't know everybody's story. I only know what I hear. And I just don't think that there has been any change since this new company has taken over. And about the policies, where's our policies at? It's like things are being made up on a daily basis. We can't go off of that. We have operators who are operating on anxiety. I've never had anxiety in my life. It takes everything out of me every day to get up and come and drive that bus because we never know what we are facing. Dealing with HR. I was out. I have FMLA. I questioned about my time. On my time, they have an app. You have to go to 2 different things to try to figure out what's your time, your pay, so forth and so on. So I was seeing that when I got my check, they had FMLA there, but I wasn't being paid for my time. So I questioned my time, and I was told that I didn't have any sick time. Come to find out, they had not transferred everything over from TransDev to RapDev, is what I was told. Okay, instead of going back and researching that ahead of time, you're just telling me I don't have any time and I'm supposed to accept that. No, I'm not going to accept that because I know I had time. So once they go back and research, they want me to sign papers stating that, okay, this is the time that we found for you. Like they were doing me a favor. No, that is your job to make sure you are doing that correctly. So I'm getting attitude and retaliation because I wouldn't sign off on papers. I went to HR. I've mentioned to the operations manager, I didn't trust her because of issues. I have went to her and other operators have went to her about another male operator harassing, bullying, and sexually harassing operators, and nothing was done about it. And this started with TransDev. And she dropped the ball. She did not do anything about this certain operator. And then the operator that reported it, she started to get harassed again and talked about by other operators for reporting it. We just want to know, when are we going to get somebody who cares, who is going to actually do what they are supposed to do? We went through this before when we had an operator. Well, he was in maintenance that came down here and spoke up, and they terminated him for coming down here and speaking up. So I don't know what they plan on doing to me tomorrow, but I'm here today to tell my story, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, can we have Mr. Howard Van Ever from Go Raleigh come down and state your name and email address?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Howard Van Ever, resident of Raleigh now. My email is srhowpow@yahoo.com. I've been here for a few years, and when I first came, I was told that this was a good place to work at Go Raleigh. It has been challenging. I know that everything can't be perfect, but some things must be taken care of. I believe that my opinion is that our medical coverage and our mental state is very important. We deal with a lot driving these buses with the different types of clientele, if that's what you want to call them, that we have to deal with on a daily basis. I had no idea what happened to our driver, Crystal Rudd. I had no idea. This is the first time I'm hearing about it, and I'm very upset about it. The medical coverage is very expensive. I had a CT scan last week, and the insurance only paid 80%. I had to come out of my pocket with $370. Even when I didn't have coverage before Obamacare or just regular hospital care, I never had to come out of my pocket with that much money. And I work for a company that I had to pay that much to get what I needed to have done. That's very ridiculous. The insurance only covers the minimum. I have had 2 dentist visits and told that we only receive $900 a month, around $900 a year for our dental. Those 2 checkups cost almost $900. So anything else that I need, I have to come out of my pocket again. You know, once again, Miss Rashonda was saying the flex pay. I'm glad that I didn't sign up for the flex pay, because I probably would have lost it. That I can't use my own money. It's our own money that we give them to hold for us, and we can't use it. It's all kind of different rules and regulations on why we can't use it. It shouldn't be like that. So we shouldn't have to come out of our own pocket. This has been a really bad issue. Can we get up to date on our pension value? I've been here going on 3 years, and I've only been given 1 year of my pension value. It seems like pulling teeth. It's like, what's going on? What, you don't want me to know of my money that you're taking out of my check every week? What you're hiding? Why you're hiding the money? So, you know, people who say things and do different, I've learned in life that all that's just talk. You know, people could talk, but it's about your actions. You know. And also, in planning on reaching my retirement age at 65, under these medical conditions and high rates, I hope to be alive after 65 for at least another 10, 15 years after 65. But under these conditions, the stressful job and not having the medical coverage, and people having to split their blood pressure medication, I just hope that I'm able to make it past 65. Well, to 65 first. I got to get there first, you know. So the retirement fees, we just had a member who just retired a few years ago and just passed away this month. So that seems to be the norm, you know, for this type of work that we do, service-oriented type of work, you know. We carry this city. If it wasn't for us, this city would not operate. And I just feel as though that we need to be taken care of a little bit better than what's going on. I understand companies come in, they have investors that they have to show a profit to or whatever. But if you don't take care of the people who break their backs, who get up every morning and transport these people, I don't know how you're gonna be able to survive this, you know. And I feel as though after what Ms. Crystal went through, the board needs to look into ways of finding out how to when these people are put off the bus, we need to have some type of system where we reassure that they don't get back on these buses, because our safety is important. And I understand that the funding is coming from the government because everything is free now. Maybe that's the issue, you know. So do you put funding ahead of people's safety, ahead of people's mental state? You know, so I just think that's a disaster. That's a disaster to do it that way. And we've come here time and time again, and nothing has changed. So I just want to say, hopefully things will change, you know. And we have to do what we have to do. So We don't want to, but we have to do what we have to do. Thank you for letting me to speak.
Okay, and our last person is Ms. Davina Mangum. Please come to the mic and give us your name and email address.
Hello, my name is Davina Mangum. Email davina33m@gmail. My main concern also is safety. Like they were saying, anxiety is a big issue. I have anxiety issues. I've been taken off the bus twice from EMS with anxiety issues. The last time I got taken off the bus, the closed system that they put in, that Transdev put in, I could not get help. Nobody would answer. I thought I was having a heart attack. I was hurting so bad, but it ended up being anxiety. But nobody answered. The rule is you do not use your cell phone in the seat. I had no choice but to use my cell phone to call for help because nobody answered. So that's an issue. There's so many people with these mental health issues that's going around, and they tell us to drive and be quiet. Don't say anything, don't do anything. If they touch you, then that's a problem, but still don't do anything. So my thing is, what's gonna happen? They're not gonna do anything to one of us get killed. And then they'll decide to start making radios open where we can speak to each other and tell them, well, this person that's intoxicated is over here or over there, or even down to driving on the road, there's a tree down, who knows, we may not see it, run right into it, whatever's going on. You never know. But it doesn't matter because everybody has to get covered. It's embarrassing to have these open radios where people online can go in and listen. It's embarrassing to the company. They've said that before when Transdev was here. But it's not embarrassing when we need help. And if there's another bus coming, the other person could get off and help you with this person or issue or detour or anything. Me, myself, I didn't know about Crystal either. Nobody knows because it's a secret. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want people to know that these people, they want to put these people in the seat because they want money. And it's not fair to us. It's not fair to us at all. So my objective as of right now, I'm going to personally make sure these stories get told. And I will come back next month or the next month when I get whatever I need from all these drivers and show y'all the footage. These drivers talking about what's going on that they're covering up. I don't know if it's the city that's covering up. I don't know if it's the company that's covering up. But I'm tired. I'm tired of these men jumping at me like they want to fight me. Yes, I'm scared, but I'm not going to show them I'm scared. And that really makes them mad. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Me, myself, if I could defend myself, they're going to be fighting to get away from me. Because that's all I have is me. I want to go home at night. I want my coworkers to go home at night. And if I see somebody hurting one of my coworkers, guess what? That's probably going to be my job because I'm going to help. Eventually, y'all ain't going to have no bus drivers because of what's going on. It's so many people leaving because this company is making up rules as they're going. They don't think we're worth $35? Everybody think we're worth $32? No, we are worth $35 and more. We are scared that we're not gonna make it home to our kids and our husbands and our wives. We are worth $35. We're worth $40. We moved this city. A couple of years ago, Marie and them decided they were gonna go downtown and make a little documentary themselves. The passengers moved this city. We moved this city. We moved this city. Without us, this city doesn't move. Y'all, whoever, don't make money. These people got to go to work. And the homeless people are ridiculous. It's disgusting. It is so disgusting. And we have to deal with it. There are rules in the rule books that these people can't get on this bus smelling like they do, and we have to ride them. It makes us sick to our stomach. It makes the passengers sick to our stomach. What is it going to take one of the city council members to get on the bus and throw up and then, oh, we got to change this? That's the only thing that seemed to move this city, is whenever something happened to somebody above our pay grade. So I just hope y'all do something. When I say, I'll take 35, yeah, but I don't feel like we're worth more. We're worth a whole lot more. And if Rap Dev felt like they're not making what they thought they were gonna make, that's on them. They should have looked at the fine print of the last contract and saw what we were worth. We were worth $27, and we're worth more now. Because they get to go home. They sitting in a locked building every day. They don't have these crazy people walking in on them. We are worth more than $35. Thank you.
I want to suggest, one, I'm going to let the authority speak first, but I do want to suggest that the same amount of energy and passion that you all are coming to speak to us at the Transit Authority, even though you shouldn't have to, you all need to go to City Council. You all need to start going to City Council meetings. You need to flood their public comments the same way when people want greenways, they do and they get it. And we have been talking about this issue for a while, and we know that there's only but so much we can do. And our transportation liaison to City Council never shows up to any meetings because he does not care. And the only way to make people care is to be the squeaky wheel and become an issue. And complaining, unfortunately, we know is not how, as much as we need to know what's going on, you all need to tell us. Action has to be had, because this has been years. And this is a whole new management company. So if it has to be drastic for your safety, because our operators are what make our city move. I don't know how we're expanding transit and coming up with new routes and doing this BRT if we can't get this right. I don't know how we're doing that. I don't know why we've already voted and said fares should come back because of this issue. Because of the people that's riding on the bus, the authority has voted. City Council has decided for whatever reason they're not doing it. As much as you all come here, I mean, those that can come here, maybe there needs to be some organizing for y'all to split y'all time and go to City Council and keep going to City Council. Because as long as you're not in their face, as long as it's just here at the Transit Authority and they've already clipped how much power we have, nothing's going to happen. I'm just being very honest. We can hold them to the fire and they are going to come up and they will be held to account. But at the end of the day, just like with TransDev, we were holding them to account. The only people that can really make something move is City Council. They're not riding the bus. They're not riding the bus. Their interest and their vested interest, and I'm not saying this because I'm speaking for somebody, we're talking about action. We're talking about behavior. We're talking about the fact that this has been going on and nothing has changed. We're talking about your safety. We're seeing in Charlotte, bus drivers having to carry guns and shoot at people on buses. Now, with passengers on the bus. There's a whole video out there of this happening. So are we waiting for that to happen here in Raleigh? Apparently we are. I'm sure everybody on this authority is going to speak up and say how it's wrong that you're having to deal with this, how it's illegal that you don't know about your pension rights. Go to the city attorney. If it's illegal that you don't know about your pension rights, you need to start speaking to people in a language that they understand. And sometimes that's being sued, and sometimes that's being litigious, and sometimes that's striking, unfortunately. We hate for the city to slow down, but I would hate to see an operator die. I hate hearing that our operators are being sexually assaulted. It seems like the issues are escalating over the years. And now that we have no fares to protect our operators, though homelessness is not the only issue you all are facing on the bus, but it is a major issue. And the truth is that small amount that people have to pay for the bus is, even though it's low, it's a barrier to help keep you all in some measure safe. And if the city is not willing to do that, then you need to make them do it. And if we're here to stand behind you as the authority, I'm cool to do it. I'm not paid. We volunteer our time because we care. And that's the main reason why we're here. It's not for clout or anything else. It's because we care, and we want you all to have an ear to be heard. We want to make sure that we're doing what we can with routes. We want to do the best that we can as an authority. But honestly, you all know what you need to do. You all know what you need to do. And remove the fear of doing it. Because something has to give, and it does not have to be a life before we act like we care. And when I say we, I mean those of us, be it appointed or elected, to be sitting here, to be caring about this city, about how it moves, about how it operates, about how it functions, about how it grows. We cannot sit here and say that Raleigh is a growing city, more companies need to come here, we're squeezing people out with housing, we're using transportation to gentrify people, we're not caring for, how we're using transportation to gentrify people and not caring for the operators. These two things don't seem like they go together to me. I've been screaming about it for some time. I've been saying what we're doing is wrong. There's obviously some discrimination even going on in my mind. There is a reason no one cares that you all are speaking up. There's a reason that nobody is paying attention. There's a reason they'll come up in here and say whatever. There's a reason our transportation liaison doesn't care to come here. They know what's happening. It's not like people don't know. These are public, wide open meetings. People see what's happening. I'm sick of being sick about it. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm done crying. I'm actually pissed at this point, because what is it gonna take, for real? What is it gonna take? Do our operators need to start carrying guns? It's an open carry state. Is that illegal? Will you get fired for protecting yourself if your job is not gonna protect you? Anybody have something to say?
I just have a question, just generally to bus management. Is there any research going into getting Raleigh Police Department on the buses?
Madam Chair, you're right. We got some challenges. It's not a RATP solution. It's not a Go Raleigh solution. It's not a city solution. It's not a regional solution. It's a worldwide problem that we're having all over. But I don't want to get into worldwide. But what I want to get into where we at right now, and you're right, we got to do something, and that's what we're doing. It may not be fast as most want it to happen, but we're taking the necessary advice to try to fix this as close as we can to save the people that means a lot to us. I love them all, and they know that. Every last one of them. And when they come and tell me their story, I get emotional just like you. So don't think that for a moment that I don't understand. We just had a meeting with the deputy city manager 3 or 4 days ago about this. And that's what Dave Eaton and Dave Walker talking about. What is the solution to fix this? We have some things that we're working on right now, but will it fix the total problem? No, it won't. But we're going in the right direction. And we got to come together as a region, not a city, because we got Go Triangle, we got Go Cary, we got Durham, we got all these transit agencies with the same problem, moving to some of the same people, doing the same thing. And if we don't come together as one unit, guess what? It's going to be hard for us just here to fix it. So is the police working with us? Yes. Yes, they are. And as I was talking to the police chief the other day, he says, just for the pandemic, he said he had a full force, but now his police force is cut in half.
The police
It's
chief
a
is
she.
a woman.
It's a she.
It's a woman.
It's a deputy chief, sorry.
Well, what was the deputy chief? I'm sorry. They say the force is cut in half. And they just have enough force just to sustain just the city, but coming in and trying to help the transit, it's a challenge. We need a force probably down at the station all the time. We offered some solutions. They're taking a look at it, and we'll see where we go from there. But I just want, all the employees to know, RATP DEP, Go Raleigh, Dave Eaton, Dave Walker, understand where you at. And we're fighting for everything to get you safe, because we understand what's happening out there. So I don't want you to get it wrong, because we fight for you every day, and we're going to continue to do that.
Hi, I'm Mike Birch. I'm the Regional Vice President for RATP Dev. I just wanted to inform the board. So we are still in open negotiations with the local union. We actually go back to the table on Monday, the 14th. So I wanted the board to be aware that we are in active labor negotiations. The statements that were made today, please entrust that we are fully engaged on all those issues. We hear from the employees. We have an excellent relationship with the union leadership. We met with them just yesterday. So please know that we are fully engaged on those, supporting those issues, supporting the employees, and are working diligently to work through the labor agreement to get a contract signed. I just wanted to make sure that the board was aware of that. Thank you.
Do we have an order? Nathan, did you want to speak?
All I wanted to say is that I'm disappointed in the fact that the only thing I'm seeing from RPD so far was the removal of a bus shelter, not actually actively taking a participation in trying to fix some of, try to stem some of this stuff. There's technology there. I hate the idea of facial recognition technology, but at the same time, if we're using it to keep people off of buses that are assaulting drivers, I think there's an argument to be made there. I think that there's opportunity for us to be doing things that aren't going to be requiring necessarily more people power, but I don't see it. All I see is removal of bus stops. So.
I agree with Tallulah. I think we're all probably disturbed. I'm disturbed. I was excited because today marks 1 year of service for me on this board. And in that time, we've dealt with, as a board, a lot of serious issues. We've requested data. We've made data-driven decisions. Those decisions were not taken seriously. And I think what we're hearing today is some of the aftermath of those decisions not being taken seriously. And what's frustrating is we've got 2 new board members, who are probably motivated and just as passionate to solve a lot of the same problems that we all wanted to solve when we got appointed to the board. But it's been a year, and what problems have we solved? It's gotten worse. And it's frustrating because a lot of their points, we don't, as Tolupe stated, don't have the power to necessarily solve. But some of the power that we do have to solve, we've got to do something. We've got a council liaison that does not attend the meetings. We, as an authority, have standards that we have to follow. If we don't come to these meetings, that leads to a dismissal at some point. If they don't show up to work, that leads to termination, and logic would state that if we've got someone who's not going to be able to make it to the meetings and fight for the best interest of this authority, that we as a board, we might need to consider a letter or something, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. And I really fear that if we continue to just stick with the status quo, we're going to find ourselves a year from now fighting probably the same battles, if not worse battles. I'd be curious to hear if those sentiments are shared across the board.
I agree with that.
I agree with that for sure. I've only been on the authority maybe a year longer than you, and I really feel like we've just deja vu all over again. You know, every meeting we are dealing with the same things. I'm encouraged by RATP Dev, and what I've heard is your approach to solving some of those issues. It was a long time getting you on board and making that decision, but I was encouraged. The one thing I want to say is I know that advancing technology takes time to onboard. Maybe it takes money we don't have, and some things can't be implemented as quickly as others. But one of the things that I know does not require technology more than what we do have currently is getting back to an employee who was sexually assaulted. I am outraged that it took her 2 days to hear from management. I don't understand that. If your employees are your family, and and someone has been traumatized, they need to hear from management. And I think one of the big things that RATP Dev has been doing is cultivating camaraderie, trying to get all the employees to feel more like a team and more like, yeah, we're here for each other and we got each other's back and we all are in this together. Well, when something traumatic has happened, I don't know, you don't have to name names or give every single detail because you don't have them all at first. But I do think that coworkers need to know what has happened. So I guess I'm simply saying I really hope that internal communication is being addressed, because it really does mean a lot to have employees know where they stand, to have employees understand that they do work for a company that cares, and to have coworkers know when something has happened that they now need to be aware of. That's all.
I agree with that. I just want to say 2 things. So, as much as we hold our operators accountable, we need to hold management accountable. So, if there are problems at the top, the middle, or the bottom, they need to have conversations with everyone about standards. There should not be a manager or anyone that is harassing employees or any type of sexual assault for any situation. So if that's not handled, if it's not in the handbook, code of conduct is written everywhere. Another thought, Crystal, I apologize that happened to you. Thank you for coming forward. Everyone doesn't need to know the situation, just as she mentioned, but people should be aware. Another potential thought is, even though that Go Raleigh is free, maybe to eliminate everyone from riding, even though it's open, maybe have everyone access to a Go Raleigh pass. If you do not have a Go Raleigh pass, you can't get on the bus. You know how to get a Go Raleigh pass, so maybe this will eliminate the homeless situation, everyone riding on the bus. Just like you go to the library, you want to check out a book, you got to have a library card. Library is free, so are the books, but there are steps you have to take to get those books. So maybe that be something we can look at to reduce the homeless problem or anyone getting on the bus. That is a solution to a problem. And that's all I have to say.
I had a couple of specific questions. I don't know if they go to Go Raleigh staff on the city side or to RITP Dev or maybe both. I agree with the sentiments of our chair and everyone at the table that we've been doing this for a long time. Haven't been on the board as long as y'all have, or as short as y'all have. So I'm bridging the gap. But we've talked about this stuff for a long time. We all care deeply about our operators. We all want them to be safe. And I'm a really pragmatic person. So these specific questions come not to change the subject away from taking action. I understand you guys are in active negotiation of your contract. We have, as a union, as a management company, all we can do is encourage you to engage in that conversation fully with compassion for each other and make this work for everyone and take each other seriously. That's really all that we can say on that. But there's a reason you'll have a union. So my specific questions are related to the contract that the city holds and the power that we do have in terms of how we hold management to account on things like this. When we had issues with our previous management company, we spent a long time as a board trying to build in places in our city contract where we did have accountability on some of these issues. So I want to ask, and if it can't be prepared today, I want to ask for us to specifically talk about this at a future meeting. But to talk about the specific measurements and data that have to be reported to us as an authority regarding employee safety, regarding violations of those safety requirements, OSHA violations, harassment violations. We asked for a lot of that reporting be included. Satisfaction, I can't remember where we landed on that being included in the contract. So this maybe I'm looking at David Walker's nodding and shaking his head at me. So for a full report on where we do have levers on some of these subjects, some things we can help with, some things we can't. I don't know if you want to speak to that now or at a future time.
Let us put something together and bring it back to the committee of the board's choice.
Linda?
It sounds like finance and policy is the place to get it. See how exciting it's going to be for you.
Thank you, Linda.
us?
I encourage all the other board members who have passion for this issue to go to that meeting, in addition to making your voice heard there and at our next meeting.
And then the second point, which you probably have a similar answer to, during our management selection process and interview process, the pension fund and how it's managed and a lot of questions around that I'm not even clear the details on came up. So if you could also provide clarity for us as an authority on what our relationship to that management is as the city versus the management company, that would be very useful for us and for those folks listening.
I have a couple more things to say, though, real quick. Because what I'm bothered by is we don't need nice words about love. You cannot love these people if people are being sexually assaulted and you're not getting back to them. And this is not the first time we've heard from people about not hearing back from management. We had somebody present last time at our retreat about it, and she lost an opportunity to buy a home because of her needing to make sure her child had surgery. So I'm not willing to be just like, oh, well, yeah, you all love them. You don't know these people to love them. And like we can not do that. In the rule book, in my mind, there should at least be something that you all you all operate across the world, right? In Paris and all these other places, and that's part of the reason why we were giving you all marks. So I think a handbook at minimum, like it shouldn't take forever for them to have something in writing about what's going on. I'm not okay with us putting everything off on RPD when we have operators sexually harassing other operators. We have closed systems still. That's something you all can do. We have retaliation from management. That's something you all can handle. Getting back to employees on time is something you all can handle. The lack of trust, it's okay to throw parties, but if you're not really building trust with people, then what are we actually doing? Like, that's not building camaraderie if you're not building trust with the operators. And at the end of the day, they do make the city go. So I want more answers, honestly, from TransDev. Those were nice words that the gentleman came up here and said, but like we want answers. Like, why is this and not always all on the Raleigh Police Department? Like, what about the parts that you all are dropping the ball? The ball is bouncing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the truth. And I understand that it takes time for transition, but there should be bridges built. And right now, it's feeling like we're getting the same thing, which is the reason we didn't want TransDev. And we did ask, what can we do? Like, what are some things, even if there's penalties that need to be put in place? And who wants to speak about that right now when we just got the contract signed by y'all? But this is unacceptable. And I know I don't. I say I can speak for the authority, and while I say that, we don't want to hear at the next meeting how people have been punished for coming up here speaking. How, oh, well, there was something that you forgot to plug in, or you forgot to unplug 2 months ago, and it just caught up to you, when really it was you coming here and holding them to account. You should want the operators to hold you to account. You should want to be operating at your highest capacity, especially as a new management company, especially as a growing transit system. If we're saying that we need to go into the future, we want to compete with New York's and things like that, but we can't even get this settled. Like, this should be this is like the barest that we can do is our operators, and we should be embarrassed. You all should be embarrassed that operators are coming here saying this, that they're not getting paid for FMLA. They don't know what their pension is. They gotta pay for stuff out of pocket. They're getting assaulted on the buses. They have closed radios. There's more, the homeless people you all can't do anything about, but they don't know what their rules are. People feel like rules are being made up as they go. Like, how are we building trust if those are the things that are happening? I'm gonna let you speak, but I also want to know, when's the next time that we are presenting to City Council? And can we get a letter put together to City Council that restates that we wanted the fares to come back and the reasons why, and ask for a new transit liaison? And before we do that, I would like to make a motion that we vote on having a new transit liaison to the City Council for the Raleigh Transit Authority because of lack of attendance and lack of I'm not going to insult the man, but I want to. But all of that, like, can we get I would like to put a vote out for that. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor of asking and requesting a new transit liaison from the City Council for the Raleigh Transit Authority, all say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. So we are asking.
I want to note that I'm abstaining.
Okay, well, you're gone. It doesn't matter. So the ayes have it that those who are going to be here. And we're asking for a new one. We're not asking for him to show up to meetings. We're not asking for him to comment on this. We're asking for a new transit liaison to the City Council, because if he's not here knowing what's going on, then it requires us to present to them. If they can overlook an issue because it's not being presented, because we don't present frequently, then they don't have to address it. If you all are not going to City Council and making them hear you and coming here and making sure we hear you, and it may be a sacrifice, but sacrifice is the price of life, right? So if that's what we're doing, then that's what has to be done. So That is what I'm asking for, us to have a letter put together to go to city council saying that we are asking again to have the fares reinstated and stating the reasons why we're asking, and asking for a new liaison to the city council be appointed to us.
If the board would like to provide that letter to staff, we'll be glad to send that along. So if you would like to draft that, we'll be happy to send that to the manager's office.
Thank you.
Tallulah, if I may just continue what you and Bryce were saying earlier about the city council representation. For the time being, while it's taking the course of whatever politics it does take, may I make a suggestion that each of us, I know we're volunteering our time and we have busy schedules, but that each of us sign up to go and present to city council, because I agree that your voices were extremely strong and your stories were moving. And I think that there's no replacement for what you guys would represent when you guys go to city council. But if there is no time on your schedule to be able to attend those meetings, then that's our responsibility as well. That's what we've signed up for. And so if that's possible, if everybody else is on board with that, then maybe we can just create like a sheet where we just put our names on the city council to go and be that squeaky wheel for those that can't do it.
I'm with that.
I agree.
When is the next city council meeting that we can speak at? On the 15th, next week? I'm the sooner the better. I'm cool to go to more than one. So, and it was given to us at the retreat, but if maybe we can get another one for how frequently the meetings are with boards, commissions, and city council. If everybody does everybody still have that schedule? Can we have a link sent to us with the schedule of the city council meetings?
Yes, we'll send that link. It's online, so we can get that out.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, sir. The 15th?
The 15th of August?
Yes.
Is it here?
It's in the chambers.
It's
one at what?
1
1
o'clock.
o'clock?
Yep.
And one at 7?
Yeah,
They just changed it. So I suggest y'all look on the website because the meeting times have all adjusted. You have to sign up by the Monday before if you want to speak at public comment. So go to the website for city council and get the details directly from that.
Is there anything else? I'm sorry.
One note, there's a difference between public hearing and public comment. Make sure when you're signing up under public comment, because they will not hear you if you sign up under public hearing.
Right.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to address your comments about policies and procedures and assure you that we have those. We are very limited as a private company on what we can say publicly in a public hearing involving personnel matters and ongoing investigations. But I just wanted to reiterate that we do have those policies and procedures. The investigations that you mentioned and highlighted, those are things we are actively working on right now. Please know that if I could give you a full dissertation of point by point what we're doing and what we're working with, I would do so. But we just can't do it in a public forum like this, and we'll be happy to provide information or details to our transit oversight team to pass along to the board. But please don't take our silence or me not coming up here and telling you directly what's going on as a surrender that we're not doing those things. We take these things extremely seriously. Harassment policies, the safety of the workforce is our primary concern. And again, by Department of Labor laws, I cannot come up here, as the union is aware, and tell you about all the things that are going on in negotiations. But we've heard them. We continue to listen to them. We continue to partner with them. And we are going to continue to bargain in good faith with them over their contract. If there are specific details of some of this stuff, we can pass that information along. But I want to ensure this board, there is nobody that we care more about than the frontline employees that work for us. I started off in this business as a frontline employee myself. So did Bill Law, so did Robert Smith. We know what it's like to sit in the chairs that they sit in all day long. And there's no one here that takes that more seriously than I do. So rest assured, if we have left you wanting on those comments today, rest assured that we are fully engaged on every story on every statement that they made to you today. We are fully cooperating with the authorities where we can. We are in full participation. The investigations are taking place on things of this nature, and we can obviously update that through your transit oversight. But if I leave you with one thing today, is that please know that we are fully engaged on these issues, and we are doing everything we can to always protect the employees that work for us. Nothing more matters to me than their safety and their satisfaction while that's on the job. And we will continue to work. We will continue to work on those things with the union, and you have our full commitment. Thank you.
I just want to end off saying that love is a verb, is what you do, and the best apology is a changed behavior. So thank you for that. All right, we'll call this meeting back to order at 5:03. Next thing on our agenda is the route committee reports, and we have an action item.
All right. So one of the action items is talking about the Hillsborough Street Route 9 that was not implemented, but was conversation FY21. Is that right? And Melanie's going to come up to present. And this is an action item to vote on which route we think is the best.
Yes. Good afternoon, members of the board. I am Melanie Rausch, one of the senior transit planners with the City of Raleigh. And we're going to talk today a little bit about Route 9. That is our Hillsborough Street route. It was included in the Wake Transit Plan, which was originally produced back in 2016, and it was supposed to go into service in FY21. Due to COVID and delays and operator shortages, whatnot, we've been a little bit delayed, but now we're kind of looking at getting that process started again. And we're here today to talk about the final route alignment for Route 9. So we looked at two options during the route committee meeting. This is option one. It proposes essentially a loop once the Hillsborough Street route reaches Meredith College and continues along Hillsborough until it dives south and gets close to that Plaza West Cary area, and then comes back in on Western on the inbound route, turns onto Blue Ridge where there's some new housing, which is not depicted in this population map, unfortunately, because it's just come online. So that was option one that we examined, and then we also examined option two, which proposes a more bidirectional route, meaning the route essentially remains the same and ensures that there are paired stops on either side of the road. So if you're going somewhere, in theory, you have to get back on the bus, and that provides a little better options for folks. And so that would just be the exact same as the inbound route you saw in option one, but it would be going the same direction outbound and inbound. So during that meeting, Route Committee voted to recommend option two. And so we are here today to just receive this item as action, and if you all want to vote for option two as well, that's what we're here to talk about. Does anybody have any questions about option one versus option two?
I didn't go to route, so I appreciate being
You
able to
missed.
ask a question. This passes the PNC Arena?
No.
No.
No? Oh, I've got the wrong. Okay.
Yeah, but we're close to the fairgrounds. I think you're thinking the fairgrounds might be the PNC Arena, but
Okay.
This is coming up the hill towards the railroad tracks.
Okay. All right. No, then my question is,
But we did ask this question, how far is this away from that entrance point? I think you said, no, it's
Yes.
less than a mile, but I think it's a quarter of a mile away.
it's about a quarter of a mile. If you can see where my mouse is right here, this is the intersection of Pylon Drive and Blue Ridge. We are currently working on there's a big Blue Ridge project, the Blue Ridge Hillsborough Grade Separation Project, that's bringing much better sidewalk connectivity between the fairgrounds and this point right here on the map. So that's about a quarter mile, and still would likely be, if, when the fair is happening, a lot of times we detour our buses to go around the traffic that's produced from the fair. So this would likely be the route we would take when big events are happening at the fairgrounds, either way.
And we did say once construction is done at Blue Ridge, potentially consideration bringing it up to Barrow Road and going across as a future modification. But right now, option 2. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think just to have it recorded in the board minutes as well as the committee minutes. There was a lot of discussion about the future here after Blue Ridge construction, after the Nightmare 440 construction, after BRTs on Western Boulevard. Route modifications probably needed on the 9 and other overlapping routes. So just so the full board's aware that routes has that on their mind for the future.
All right, awesome. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve, to accept option 2 as the new route for Route 9 Hillsborough Street?
I make a motion to approve option 2 for Route 9.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor of approving option 2 for Route 9 Hillsborough Street, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. We'll go with option 9 for the option 2 for Route 9 for Hillsborough Street.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The other topic was the Blunt Street bike lane conversation. This was new to me, but this was basically conversation at the downtown area. The bus kind of waits in the bike lane, so it's been recommended to move into the side street to wait. I don't know if we have a map of that to kind of show examples of what's been occurring, but some of the bikers come through Blunt Street and the bike is actually in that lane. Even though Blunt Street, it's kind of small, it is a shared space between the bike lane and offloading and loading. It's a lot happening on that street, so David.
Yeah, apologies, we didn't bring any slides for that, but I'll be glad to answer any additional questions. It's essentially a right-of-way issue. There's just not enough right-of-way for all the stakeholders that want to be there, and that's commercial truck loading and unloading, bus loading zone, bike lanes, 2 lanes of traffic, and then additional parking on the far side of Blunt Street. The issue is, for us specifically, the amount of space for the bus parking is 7.5 feet, and our bus is 8.5 feet wide. So there's absolutely no way we can get our bus into the bus zone without overlapping the bike lane. And so we're getting a lot of complaints on social media about buses overlapping. There's also been, complaints about the trucks loading and unloading, but we're the same consistent red and gray bus that says Go Raleigh on the side, so we seem to be getting the brunt of that action. We have met with our transportation planning department. They actually came to the route committee, and there was a lot of good conversation there. And we are making some changes to address minimizing our bus staging on Blunt Street as much as we can, but we will not be able to completely remove all buses from Blunt Street at this point.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. I think this could have been covered at our last meeting when it was brought up, but I just like to be reminded of why, since there's no loading and unloading, that's just a staging place for the bus, why can the buses not pull around into the main bus area?
So it is a bus stop. It is an active bus stop that does get used. So there is a bus zone there, but it also gets used secondarily as a staging point. The changes that we're making will minimize the need to be out there staging.
Okay.
We're going to make sure our supervisor and service trucks that typically use that driveway from Blunt Street into the Go Raleigh station, we're going to logistically make sure the vehicles stay to the right so that we can get at least one bus in there on the left side. But if by chance we needed a second bus to stage for a few minutes, it would still have to be out on Blunt Street for short periods.
Yeah, that was my question, since I go by there every day, and a lot of times it's multiple, like 2 or 3 buses, and I knew it was for staging, and it's just from my eye, it looks like they could pull on into the
Yeah, so
thing.
we are working on that. That's a work in progress. We worked with the Transportation Planning Department, the Vision Zero team. You know, they have already added some delineators there right before you get to the driveway. Essentially now we can only put one bus out there, period, no matter what, unless we're parking in the commercial loading and unloading zone, and we shouldn't be doing that. So we've worked with that team to get those delineators in that helps our bus stay in the appropriate place. That also helps visibility for, you know, cars traveling on Blunt Street, because there's a pedestrian crossing on the far side of that driveway. So it helps open that up so everybody's a little bit safer.
I just wanted to provide a little extra context as well from our discussion. We actually spent a lot of the committee meeting talking about this. Some of the operational changes that our ITP Dev is making are related to the other operational changes they've told us about before, about improving drivers' schedules. So drivers don't have as long of a break where they would need to park a bus there. So it's not just in response to the bike lane issue, but as part of the overall operational improvements and schedule improvements they've been making. So I just wanted to add that for context. I think the decision to only have at most one bus there is the best that can happen right now. But also what became clear from talking to the Vision Zero director and the other transportation staff is that there is not a short-term solution to the bike and bus conflicts on Blunt Street or in other places downtown. So for the public to be aware, the staff is putting together a downtown mobility study to look at those types of conflicts and how to best resolve them across all of downtown. And that will be coming forward to get started with council approvals and all the things that that takes soon, but has not started yet. So a lot of the feedback that we've heard through social media and from advocates in the community will have a place to be directed. So I just want to, since we're on record and the public can see this, to let them know that.
Thank you. I think that's all we have for that topic. The last one is talking about the public brochures. It was questioned, why is this in route committee? We're not just trying to improve the language on the overall system maps, but we're also looking to making the map user-friendly and with more routes and other lines coming on board. We're looking at the overall system map. So this topic will stay en route so we can look at the overall system map. It's not just that one brochure. So any questions about that? I know marketing had questions about that, but we're not doing a campaign on the map itself. We're just looking at the overall system map. And as things come on, there will be changes. And I know David said there's potentially a client looking at our maps now, did you say? Or coming?
Yeah, our existing contract for graphic design services is about to expire, so we'll be doing a procurement for a new graphic design, which would be the people that create our maps for us. And so we may be able to make part of that procurement, having them take a look at what's proper language to have in brochures and system maps, and getting that information from peers across the country.
Okay. Thank you. And that's it for route. Any questions?
Thank you very much for that. All right, looks like the next committee report we have is marketing to discuss the Busopoly update.
I know that we didn't meet, but could I just make a brief comment for finance and policy?
Yes. Well, Karen's not here anyway. Who was at the marketing meeting? There we go.
Finance and Policy Committee did not meet this month, but just want to remind everyone that we are working on bylaws, and we are, as a committee, going through the bylaws, but there is a link that's been sent to everyone on the authority, and we wanted to ask you to look it over and give us any feedback that you have as we make these changes. We're going to be revising and making changes and then presenting to the whole authority, but I think we could streamline it or, work specifically on your comments if anybody wants to just take a look and send us your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, marketing committee.
Thank you, Linda. And I will get with you. I have taken a look at those. The marketing committee met on Thursday, August 3rd. Andrew Miller gave us a presentation on the Busopoly marketing campaign. He showed us several creative examples and briefed us on which ads were performing the strongest. He presented our paid social analytics through Meta, and Karen and I were particularly impressed with the fact that our cost per clicks and our click-through rates are well above industry average. We felt good about that. We reviewed data points that were provided to us from the digital partnership that we have with the News and Observer. Also showcased was the WRAL 10-second radio spots. The last item we reviewed was website performance. Month over month and year over year performance had achieved significant gains, specifically in the users and new users category. So that we felt great about that. As a committee, we were pleased with their performance, and we're looking forward to giving staff and the team about a 2-month period before we go back and revisit those numbers in October. And with that timeline, we're hoping that as the data continues to evolve, that we'll be in a better position to optimize those campaigns. But at this point in time, if there are any questions from the board, happy to take those.
Just one. Have y'all looked at the data from social media, from like Facebook and Instagram?
We've looked at the paid social analytics from Meta. Are you referring to the organic metrics? Mm-hmm. Andrew, could you help me out on that? I know that we looked at the paid. I don't recall personally looking at the organic metrics.
Yeah, so all of the. Sorry about that. So all of the organic data can be found in board docs in that report that we post monthly. For the overall campaign, the data that we specifically looked at was for the paid aspect because that's what we're spending our money on. But in the future, when we gather all that data, we can be sure to include that as well. But that information is available online for you as well.
Okay. And one last thing. Only thing I would say to look at the board games pieces that are in yellow, use a black font versus white because the white background does not show. The writing does not show.
Yeah, and we saw your comments and we were able to make adjustments on that as well.
Okay.
And as always, anytime you have feedback, especially since we are so digitally heavy, if you have comments, you can email our team and we're happy to make those updates for you.
I just have a quick question. Which Go are we using right now?
Play to start.
It's the summer. Okay, perfect.
And I think that concludes our report.
Thank you, Bryce, for that amazing report. That's great practice for when me and Karen transition off. And you're in the new chair. All right, so it looks like the last thing we have is Jen requested an update to the Go Raleigh access. Go access. Excuse me.
Go Raleigh access. You got it.
Yes. I'm just saying it all. It's going to stick somewhat. Some of it is.
Before I switch over to that, I'll just make a quick reminder for Route Committee, our performance reports. We worked with our ATP Dev to put together a new performance report packet. So we're asking everyone to take a look at those and then report back next month if you like what you see, there's more that you would like for us to work on adding or anything like that. So you'll have to look under the Route Committee board docs agenda to see those.
It's on this one too.
They're on the main page as well.
Yeah.
On the main agenda.
Well, I was right. Go Raleigh access.
All right, so we put this together real quick today, so I apologize if it's not real pretty, but we changed our reservations system software for the ADA Access Program, and that also closely ties into the dispatching software that's used by RATP Dev for the Go Raleigh Access Program. That change took place on August the 1st. So we've been operating now for just under 2 weeks with our new software. As with any new software change, there were some hiccups in the road, and so we're just going to talk about that a little bit today. But first, I'll talk briefly about what is Go Raleigh Access, since we've got a few new members. The Access Program, or the ADA Complimentary Paratransit Program, was mandated by the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. We have a service area that essentially mirrors our fixed route operating system, and for each route that we have, you draw a line out 3/4 of a mile to create a buffer around those extremities of the system. So basically, we cover the entirety of the city of Raleigh, plus a little bit more due to some fixed route services in different municipalities. The fare for the access trip is $2.50, basically double what the fare is for our Go Raleigh system. But since we're currently operating under a suspended fare, the fare for the access program is also suspended. So that's been about 3 years now. I realized when I was reviewing my notes just a second ago that we forgot to put the budget total number in there. I think our total access budget, David, is about $15 million annually, give or take $1 million. That second bullet just repeats what I just said, and goodness, all that does. So that's a quick slide to cover. So I'll talk a little bit about the old software and why we needed to change, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the new software. The old software was, the name of the company was Route Match. Again, both our city employees in the reservations office that book the trips use it, and then those trips get pushed out to operations every evening. That company was actually sold twice in the last 18 months, and the final company that bought that company decided they were not going to continue to support that service. The company that bought it had their own platform, and they're trying to transition all of the former Route Match employees over to that platform. We weren't really in a joint contract with Wake County. The Route Match contract was a Wake County contract, and then we did an ILA with them to use the software that they procured. So we were sort of at the mercy of Wake County and how we moved forward, and they were ready to make a change. We extended the Route Match contract, I think, 1 month to give us a little bit more time after the RATP Dev transition that took place on July the 1st. But the new software did take place, start up on August the 1st. One of the big issues that we had with Route Match, and we had been working on this internally within the city with Route Match before all the turnover that they had with ownership, was we had no visibility of our trips once we gave those trips to the taxi companies. So we were 100% in the blind, essentially, once we dispatched that trip until we got an invoice back from them. And that's just not a sustainable solution for us moving forward. The new software, again, it's used by both city and the operations folks. It's cloud-based. It does provide visibility by our office. Our staff can see the trips as they're happening live. The dispatch staff can see the trips as they're happening live. The software has a lot of capabilities that we have turned down a little bit right now. So throughout the day, it can look at vehicle number 12 and the trips that they have, and if for some reason that that vehicle starts running behind, it will automatically redistribute trips that were assigned to that vehicle to somebody else that can perform trips on time. So in theory, it will help improve on-time performance and provide better service to our clients. future improvements that we'll have. We haven't rolled these out yet just because we didn't want to do too much at one time. But eventually, our clients on the ADA program will be able to book their trips via an app, similar to the way you book an Uber or a Lyft. They'll have to book those trips today for tomorrow, the same way they do today through our reservations line. They'll also be able to see their vehicle as soon as the driver logs into their trip and he's on the way. They'll be able to see that car as it's approaching. So again, very similar to an Uber or Lyft platform. We hope to be able to roll that out in the next 60 to 90 days, but we'll just kind of play that by ear and see how things continue to work for us. On the back end, there are unlimited reports that we can run. We don't know what all those reports are yet because we've only been working with it for about 8 days. But we know we can do searches by taxi company. We can do search by our vans individually. We can search by individual drivers. So we can drill down as much as we want to see if there are taxis that are performing wonderfully, and we can see if we have taxi companies that maybe need some more training and conversations. So lots of performance metrics that we'll be able to provide, and I'll show you a few statistics here from our first 10 days. This is just a quick map of something the dispatch office can see. These are actual trips taking place earlier this afternoon within our ADA service area. So how are we doing so far? Again, we rolled this out on August the 1st. The first column are trips that were completed where the driver actually completed his trip the same way an Uber driver would. He clicks a button on an app saying he's picked up the client, and then when he makes the drop off, he clicks it again, and that's why you're able to track it. You know, on that previous map, you'll see it as it's actually happening. We can track their on-time performance. We'll know everything there is to know about that trip. It will calculate the miles. We'll use those miles to pay the taxi vendors, you know, and let's see, what else we got here. You'll see, we started out slow on the first day with only about 71% of the taxis actually completing the software information that needed to be completed. But quickly after that, we got up into the upper 80s and low 90s for the balance of the last 9 days. And everybody, for the most part, are completing their trips as they need to. And similarly, this slide is just the taxis. I pulled the information just for our Go Raleigh Access vans as well. And you'll see similar numbers there for our vans. The first week, we sort of held our vans back, and we used them to provide emergency trips, or if for some reason a trip got missed. We did receive a lot of complaints because our call center was having enormously long queues when people were calling in. It was taking the reservationist a little bit longer to book those trips because they were dealing with a brand new software. And people were confused and weren't understanding when they were calling in, you know, why they were having to provide additional information. But until today, we've had pretty much a full queue every day of the week. But today, we're glad to report we had our queue down to single digits and low single digits almost all day long. So we seem to have gotten over that hump, and things are getting back to normal in our call center. And that's really all we have to present. We can develop some performance metrics from the software and start making that part of our monthly performance report data that we bring to Route Committee if you would like.
Yeah, I just want to follow up with saying there's still some work to do. I mean, we're learning every day when you have a new piece of software. I know everyone here has worked with a new piece of software, and so it does take a while. The more you use it, the more you learn, and the better you get. And that's really what's happening right now, and that's what you saw with the stats that David provided. I would just wanted to do a shout out to the operations team and really all of the operators, as well as the taxi operators. This is very new to them as well. They went through training. If anybody's been trained on a piece of software and then you go back to your office and somebody expects you to use it, it's not that easy. So, there's, again, that learning curve. It takes training. use the system and then some retraining, and then you start getting it. And so, again, that's what we're seeing. Also, a big shout to our call center, our ladies that are in this building right here every day that take the calls in, that do all the trips in the future. So they take all those bookings. That first week was rough. They experienced, a new software, clients that were frustrated. And so those environments can be very stressful. They hung in there, and again, they saw the fruits of their labor today. I bet you I've called that line 6 times. I actually got directly through to the call center 3 times without a queue. So that means it went straight to a reservationist. And the other 2 times, there was 3 callers. I was 3rd caller in line. And then I called right before, at the end of the day, everybody wants to call. And so really, I called right before we got in here, and I think I was caller number 7. So that's outstanding work on their part. So I just wanted to shout that out. Thank you.
And I'll add that the software provider has been here on site every day since day one of implementation. They were here for about, I believe we started training 3 weeks out, so early in June. They were here on site training. We've got 50 taxi vendors. I think it's a little bit over 200 drivers for those taxis, in addition to, I think we've got close to 100 drivers between Go Raleigh and Go Wake Access that had to be trained. So there's been a tremendous amount of ongoing training and recurring training. Echo Lane is the software. They've been down at our Blunt Street facility providing, walk-in service. So if a taxi driver gets confused on something, all he's got to do is swing by the terminal, and there's somebody there to talk to him and walk them through step by step. They've also set up an 800 line that can be called any time of day, because those Echo Lane folks do have to go home at some point at the end of the afternoon, but they've got an 800 number that they can call to get additional service into the evenings. And I'll throw a shout out to RATP Dev. They've provided 3 staff from their operations to help with our call center all week this week, and I think 1 or 2 days last week. So they've jumped in. They've been a good partner with us throughout this process and provided backup and support to our reservations line ladies.
I would love to hear the vendors and our call center staff feedback of the new software. Just their input. Like, is it better compared to?
Well, it's still new.
No. Next month.
A lot of the the taxis never had anything
Right.
at all. So it's brand new to them. So it's just going to be different. But we can certainly see if we can pull some information and bring that to you next month.
Can you go back to the last slide? I just have one quick question. So August 9th, it says software used 43, total trips 52. And then you said not complete, using software 0.
So there were 52 total trips booked through the reservations line. 43 of those trips were completed using the software. There's 2 or 3 other little categories that will pull out, but you see that final column there where it says trips that were completed not using the software were 0. So I just didn't busy this slide up with all those other columns.
They could be cancellations, things of that nature.
I was wondering
There's
what
some,
the
like you
delta
say, he
was.
said
Okay.
there's some weird categories in there.
Yeah.
No shows, cancellations, just the weird variables.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? On anything?
Thank you for putting this together today. I think, it was in the news that customers weren't served, and just as much of our operators are important to us, so are our customers and our riders, and we want to provide the best service possible. So thank you for adding the context and the updates, and if we could just continue to get updates via email between now and the next meeting if other things come up as you guys transition. The goal was not to make anyone's life hard last week. It was to make people's life better over time.
Exactly.
So just so the public knows that.
Yeah, I mean, there were obvious issues, potentially they started at our call center, when that queue gets full, it's just full, and it takes a long time to wait through that process, and there may have been trips that just didn't get booked because they couldn't get through in time. So typically you have to call in today for a trip tomorrow. All last week and all this week, we've been taking calls today and booking trips immediately. We're taking care of those clients as best we can, understanding that, this has been a big change for everyone. And so we're doing everything we can to provide a successful program.
Thank you for that. Very much. Are there any other questions, concerns? Are all hearts and minds clear? All right, well, we'll call this meeting adjourned at 5:36. Thank everybody for your reports and your time and your engagement. Call this meeting to adjourn 5:36 PM Thursday, August 10th.